Thank you for being here. We appreciate our New Jersey educators at the end of another long school day being here with us. We're excited to share some new resources with you. And Rosalie and I will be walking you through a project that we recently completed in New Jersey, and we're excited to get started. I'll begin by introducing myself. I'm Elaine Makrovich, and I am a retired New Jersey educator. I taught for 30 years in a K-6 elementary school in Sussex County. Through those years, taught bits of just about everything. And after retiring, and even during my last few years, I connected with SubjectToClimate when they were beginning their work with Sustainable Jersey in developing our New Jersey hub and writing some lesson plans. And now I'm the director of our state leads, and we have more to show coming up in our presentation tonight. I'll send it over to you, Rosalie.
Hi, I'm Rosalie Morillo. I am the program manager at Sustainable Jersey. Previously, I was a English high school educator for about 13 years. And similarly to Elaine, I taught anything from creative writing to digital media, and teachers can do quite about anything. So and since then I went and I took a step towards working with Sustainable Jersey. I've been with them for this is my third year now, and I work specifically with the climate change education and digital schools program, and really just helping to support educators in New Jersey with the new climate change standards, and trying to provide those resources, which is why we teamed up with SubjectToClimate to provide more support in the classroom. So,
So I first like to share the agenda because I know I always liked as a teacher when I attended any type of a presentation or conference event, I always liked knowing what was ahead. And so even though we're only with you for an hour, we're going to start with reviewing the New Jersey Climate Education Hub, which is a free website for teachers. We're going to review that New Jersey unit plan project that took place. You'll meet some of the New Jersey educators who we were fortunate to work with, who developed those units and lesson plans. And then we're going to provide you with ways to stay connected with both SubjectToClimate and Sustainable Jersey. At the end of the session, we will have an opportunity for questions. So we'll ask that you think about, as you're watching and experiencing and learning, what comes to mind, and hold those. And then we'll have lots of time planned for at the end for that. So I'll start with what is the New Jersey Climate Education Hub. As I mentioned, it is a free website. It was created with collaboration of Sustainable Jersey, the Sustainability Institute, and some other organizations and partners in the state of New Jersey as a response to helping teachers in New Jersey classrooms respond to the need connected to the New Jersey learning standards that were adopted. I'm going to take some time not to take you directly to them, because that's something that we are going to have you do after you leave this session with us, where you'll be able to search and filter and look for materials yourself. But what I did want to share is what is our mission, and with SubjectToClimate sort of being that core site, the partner over the state hubs, you can see that we now have expanded into 6 states with more to come. But our vision is essentially that we're hoping for a future where every child learns about climate change and becomes a steward of our planet. And our mission to that end is to empower all educators to easily and effectively teach about climate change, justice, and action. And as you can see, with the image here, you can see that it's a website that is a database that's filled with lots of different pieces and places to search. So I'm going to step by step go through those with you and share what you can find when you access the New Jersey Climate Education Hub. At the end of our session, we will also link these slides so that you'd have the ability to go back through all of this, and all of the links are live, and then you could navigate and explore on your own. So, as I mentioned, it's a resource database. We have over 2,000 resources that are vetted by scientists and reviewed by educators. So, you can filter and find that some of them are specific to New Jersey, and then some of them are also specific to the United States and globally. One of the things that's exciting is the way that you can filter through all these resources. We have a lot of partner organizations that we've worked with, and so we've aggregated their resources as well, so that you have the opportunity to find materials that are from really anywhere that you could search by using a tool like Google, but we've already found them for you. And then, as you can see, there are ways to filter by your grade level, your subject, and even your standards. So what's exciting about the lessons we're going to share with you later tonight is that they're made by teachers for teachers. So we know that it's in the hands of those who are connected to the work that you're doing. And again, those can be filtered for your grade level, for your subject area, for your standards, and even by looking at topics or activities or unit plans. They are standards aligned, and all of our New Jersey units and lesson plans are specifically built solidly on the New Jersey Student Learning Standards, so you can use them and feel confident that you're meeting the standards that you're required to teach in your classroom, and they're also very engaging and interesting for students. We have lessons, units, and standalone activities. We also have a section for professional development. And we have featured courses that we offer on 3 levels, and these are free for any educators, as well as the entire website is free. You're not required to make an account or pay anything to use any of the materials, which we know is super helpful for teachers. What's great about the professional development spot is that not only do we have the courses that we've developed, but we also link you to any relevant New Jersey professional development that's happening in the upcoming school year and even beyond. So this could be your one-stop shop, your place to go to for your classroom materials and for professional development for yourself. Teacher guides is another area that we're seeing a lot of excitement about. It's a place to get started where we've taken a grouping of materials, resources, lesson plans, and presented them in a way that could get you started if you're just beginning to think about how to integrate this. We also have partnered with the Juice, and we have news for students, which, as you can see, you can search by topic. You can change the grade band to scaffold the text, and they can even be assigned to students. A bit higher level than K-2, but they are a great resource that you could pass on to your colleagues. Now I'm going to pass it over to Rosalie, who's going to take some time and talk specifically about what was the project that we worked on and lead us into the next step.
Thank you, Lane. So to provide a little bit more context about the project that we did with SubjectToClimate, Sustainable Jersey, which is located at the College of New Jersey, branded as the Sustainability Institute, received a grant from the New Jersey Department of Education to help support New Jersey teachers with the new climate change standards. And what we found was that a lot of elementary school educators were lacking in resources. So this specific grant, we worked and partnered with SubjectToClimate to provide more models in integrating climate change education across all subject areas and grade bands. But in this work that we paired with SubjectToClimate, we wanted to really hone in on elementary education resources, as well as bilingual resources for students as well, which you'll get more of a look into those units later on. So next slide. So just to give a little of a background, we ended up having over 50 exemplar lesson plans that highlight the strategies to address the causes or impact of climate change in the 9 distinct content areas. So as you can see, these are all the standards. These are all the content areas that we're focusing on. Some of them are primarily, they're interdisciplinary, so they hit different types of different content areas within the units. So it's really great because that's the best way that students learn, right? When they're kind of taking things from different content areas and transferable knowledge that's being done in the classroom. Yeah, next slide, sorry. So the results after working on this project, we ended up coming out with 18 units, K through 5 units, which is 54 lessons in total. Again, interdisciplinary focus. We really made sure that they were in connection with the New Jersey Student Learning Standards as well as the climate change standards. Thinking about different and diverse perspectives and understanding, which is why we talked about having bilingual lessons or world language lessons, and really thinking about student actions and activities and having students really be more exploratory in their learning. We also embedded social emotional learning focused as we think about climate anxiety and really just thinking about students, especially at the younger age level, where they're having a better understanding with their connection to the environment and the world, and not really just thinking about the doom and gloom of climate anxiety, like climate change and heightening that anxiety for them, but thinking about solutions and ways that they can look at their world and be part of the solution, as opposed to thinking about what the issues that are going to be coming on later on when it comes to climate change. And again, all the materials are teacher and student are student focus. They have all the units have all the teacher materials and everything that you need, including the lesson plans, the actual PowerPoints, and they're also easily modified for you to fit the needs in your classroom, thinking about what your needs are for your students. And then again, just having a deep understanding of environmental concepts and conditions and the issues, but doing it in an age-appropriate way. So now I'm going to hand it off to Elaine to introduce the fellows and the teachers that helped develop the lessons.
Thanks, Rosalie. So the first New Jersey fellow I want to introduce you to is Martha Friend, and unfortunately she couldn't be with us this evening due to another uh, conflict, but I wanted to take a minute to just highlight the work that she did. She created a kindergarten unit called Stay Cool, and this is an ELA unit. So the focus is on interdisciplinary connections with the thinking about extreme heat in New Jersey and how that affects not just humans, but animals. And so you can see the focus of her 3 lessons in her unit are animal adaptations to hot weather, heat waves, and another reading lesson on writing connected to the animal adaptations. So, what's wonderful about what she built out and created is, as Rosalie said, developmentally appropriate. So, for those kindergarten students, we're starting with building a foundation for their planet and for the love of that. And of course, all kindergarten students love animals and they love to learn about them and talk about them and think about them. So this was a great way to connect. What do we do, when we're faced with extreme heat as humans, but what do animals do? And so there's a nice woven connection through here of the science elements of that, but the strength of the ELA focus with reading and writing standards, and certainly lots of opportunities for kindergarten students to talk about what they're thinking and feeling, is very present in her unit. So though I wish she were here to be able to share it with you, this is a live link here. And so when we complete the webinar and we share this with you, we really encourage you to go into her unit. And if you're a kindergarten teacher and you choose to use it, we'd love it if you would leave us some feedback. There's a section and a way to do that for you to review a lesson if you've taught it and you have something to share. And also, as Rosalie mentioned, what's wonderful about these unit plans is that they are customizable. So you can take this and maybe you teach first grade, but there are elements of this and you would like to utilize it with your students. You can make copies of the Google slideshows, you can make copies of the lesson plan, any student documents, and you can adjust those and differentiate for the students that are in your class. So if you have some of those readers already and they're advancing, you have the ability to extend the learning for those students. And so that's something that we think is great about what all of these New Jersey educators have created. And I'd also like to say that we were particular about how we figured out who to select to fill these roles, to develop these units. We really were looking for teachers who had experience in the area that they were writing lessons for. So you can be confident as a New Jersey educator that what they've developed, if you take that and review it and use it in your classroom next week, you can be confident that this was developed by someone who could be a colleague of yours and that all the resources and everything was reviewed by a scientist as well, so that we know that what we're presenting to students is factually correct. And again, we'll have an opportunity for questions when we reach the end of the presentation. So if you're thinking about questions related to anything that the following educators are going to share with you, just jot those down or share those in the chat, and then Rosalie will be able to help take a look at those and we'll navigate the question period at the end. So I'm just checking to see if we have Jessica. I don't see Jessica here, unfortunately. So we'll go ahead and I'll pass this over to Rosalie to just do a quick highlight of Jess and her 3 lessons listed there. She's got a great math and weather unit. And again, we know you're going to want to dive deep into it yourself.
So, talking about Jess's unit, as you see, she's an elementary school teacher. She had 3 lessons, and the lessons were really focused on the shapes and the seasons. Um, so thinking about the patterns that you can see in the weather around the world, and thinking about the relationship between the weather and our daily lives. So these are really good to think about the foundational aspects of math and students looking at shapes and different characteristics of geometric shapes and thinking about how students can kind of connect that into the weather that they see every day.
Thanks so much, Rosalie. And as you can see, Rosalie mentioned earlier when she went through the development of this project and all those interdisciplinary connections, this one's a great example of connecting math standards and math being really the primary focus for these lessons and for the content and the learning. But yet we see that weather is woven through, and we see a natural connection to using math to study weather, and Jess did a great job of making those connections. And all of the same things apply as what I said before about the differentiation abilities and how you can take these lessons and adapt them into your classroom. So we'll continue on. And we're going to actually, we'll come back to this. I'm going to go ahead and go forward to Kelly Stone, who's an amazing educator in Long Branch, New Jersey. She's been a dedicated content creator with SubjectToClimate, and we were thrilled when we were able to bring her back into this project and have her work with us to create her performing arts weather unit. So Kelly, we're going to pass it to you, and you have the ability to share anything about your unit or the process, or hearing Rosalie and I talk about it. It's very different than one of the fellows who went through the program. So we would love to hear any and all of your perspectives, and you have plenty of time to share what you think the rest of the teachers on this webinar would love to hear.
Sure. Thank you so much. I have to start with saying that I really enjoyed putting this unit together. I'm not a performing arts teacher. I'm computer science STEM engineering teacher, but I also am very interested in looking at ways to connect all aspects of learning into the projects that I do in my classroom. So while I don't teach performing arts, dance, art, and music, it's always in my lessons, and the kids are dancing around while they're creating, and there's music involved in it. So cross content is very important to me, and I think our students learn best when they do that. When it connects to climate change education, performing arts offers a great way to segue into a tough topic. And I'm not saying that it's tough because you're presenting scary facts to kindergarten, first and second graders. That's not the case at all. But it often kind of brings a fear to them when they read some of the books that contain climate change, or they've heard stuff at home from their families. So performing arts creates this safe and fun, creative, imaginative environment where you can connect the two concepts together. It's really a powerful tool for teaching climate change. Not only does it enhance creativity and imagination, but build confidence and self-esteem, improve communication skills, and encourage collaboration and teamwork, which is so important in learning at all age groups, but especially younger kids, because they're really developing those communication skills, learning how to work with peers, classmates, and even their teachers. So this unit was really a lot of fun to create. It's focused on first grade, but it really connects to kindergarten standards as well as second grade. So it works really well across all those grade levels, and probably can even be adapted through third, fourth, and fifth with just a couple modifications. The three lessons, they start with an introduction to weather, and that's through music and dance. They're introduced to a powwow type dance where they can create movements from their own cultures and backgrounds, what they're learning in their schools or outside with their families, and connect that to music and weather. It's really a fun unit of just getting music and dance infused into teaching this first lesson. It moves on to extreme weather in the next lesson, and that is done through art. The kids take time to create a rain stick, which is a great addition to your classroom. We use it for quieting down, gaining attention, but the kids also connected to the sound of that rainstorm. They learn a little bit about extreme weather and what happens in areas, the danger that brings. And then in the third lesson, they work towards preparing for those extreme weather conditions and what they can do to get ready at their homes and even in school. And that kind of culminates with a lesson where they design a skit and record it using whatever technology you have in the classroom. Our Chromebooks have the ability to record, our iPads have the ability to record. So it's great for the kids to use and kind of put those videos together. It infuses so many different learning standards in these three lessons. The first two are very heavy, not only in climate change, but ELA and social studies standards. And the third one kind of dives into the computer science and design thinking, as well as career readiness, life literacies, and key parts of growing. So forgive me, I have notes all over the place. I wanted to make sure I kind of touched on everything here. But they really segue nicely from one to the next. And they were intended that way, but they're also can be taught on their own. I really do believe that when students are given the knowledge, have grown through the understanding of climate change, education, sustainability, greener ways of thinking, they come up with ideas that really could influence and change the world. I've seen it firsthand in my classroom. So these lessons really help our students kind of build that foundation and get started on that journey. Great intention for our youngest learners. It comes with a couple of literacy books that were read by the authors. So you could, if you had the books, great, but if not, they're read-alouds by the authors that are available on YouTube and through libraries for lending and things like that. But I'll tell you, Finding My Dance is the first one, and it's read by Rhea Thundercloud, who is the author of the book. It's a beautiful book about finding your way to dance in the world, no matter what your background is, and encouraging dance through your movements. Cultural connections are present and relevant. The kids really love this story and connect to it well. And then the second one is The Meteorologist in Me, and that is read by Brittany Shipp, who is the author of the book, and it's kind of about the lifestyle of a meteorologist. It's a big word for first graders, but understanding what that entails and what the job is like really comes across in the story, and it made the kids connect to this lesson. I got to write this, and I've also been teaching it in a couple situations in my district, and the kids have really responded to it. They really like the last lesson where they get to create their video and kind of put what they've learned all throughout it together. They also really like instructing you on ways you can prepare for storms, and when they hear about snowstorms coming, they're very intent on what you should be having in your home. So those lists come across and they're able to share it with their family. I was told numerous times to get milk, water, and bread to get ready for the snowstorm we had. And in this area, we had about 1/4 of an inch. So the kids get excited about that kind of stuff, and they're able to apply it to their home lives, which I really love, and love that connection they can bring back to share with their families. The third book is from SubjectToClimate. It's an approved book with their program, and you'll see more about that. I'm sure you'll hear more about that program in a little while, but Fabian's Wild Adventure, and it just kind of goes through the cycle of extreme weather and gets the kids into it. They're seeing all kinds of extreme weather on the news if they're home, and their parents are interested in watching stuff like that with the wildfires in LA. And I hope they're well, and we can do something to help there soon. But those fears come with the kids back to school, and they talk about that kind of stuff. And a unit like this really can teach them that there are ways to prepare, and how we can help people in those situations, and what they can do here, all while having a little bit of fun with creativity and imagination, and building that self-confidence in the classroom. I don't know, Elaine, if there's anything else you want me to share with that. It's all I prepared, but I'm happy to say more.
No, I think that's wonderful. I think we'll likely have some questions that we'll send your way at the end. But I encourage you, Kelly, to write a review on the New Jersey Hub of your own unit and your own lessons, since you have taught them, because maybe you have some even further advice beyond what was drafted and written there. I'm happy to hear that you've been able to use it. I'm going to go back, if I may, and see if I can navigate that. Maria is not here, not able to join us this evening, but I wanted to just connect on her unit. Rosalie mentioned how what was really unique about some of our units was the bilingual connection and the world languages units. And Maria is a bilingual teacher in Patterson and Passaic. She had a great deal of information about the Passaic River and the connections to her students there. And she wanted to really take that and go deeply into the river biome and what that looks like in New Jersey specifically, even creating a digital book, because there was not a resource out there that she could find that did what she wanted. So Rosalie, if you have anything you'd like to share on these lessons or this unit, I'll pass it back to you.
Sure. This was actually one of my favorite units because I thought, again, like Elaine said, that Maria did create her own novel, her own digital book to kind of reference to. And this is a really powerful lesson, especially for students that are familiar with the Passaic River. So the first unit goes through like why healthy river is important, and thinking about ways to solve the problems of keeping the river healthy. And they can look at their own river in their area, or again, as they reference inside the ebook that she created, how to look at the river and the history of the Passaic River and how it was important to the natives at that time. I believe it was the Lenape Indians. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I think. Lenape Indians. Yeah. So I thought it was really great to kind of think about the history of the river, and then students getting that connection and understanding like the importance of like having a healthy river, even in that historical times. And then thinking about, well, what does the river look like now, and how and why is it important and for us today? And then, it builds in the lesson, and it breaks down the ebook into different chapters, right? So the first lesson goes through the first chapter, and then the second lesson goes through the second chapter. So you see the scaffolding throughout the unit, which is really great. And again, having providing really just solid lessons for bilingual students. Because I feel like we have so many bilingual students in New Jersey. I would say I feel like there's always a growing population of that, and they don't have as many resources. So just seeing that connection, and all that work being, you know, that Maria put into this lesson, you see that she's deeply connected to it. And just even having it as a place-based lesson is really powerful for the students. And then it moves into talking about like how to be part of the solution and keeping the rivers healthy. And then later on it mentions that how can we help with that, like recycling and cleaning up and things like that, and coming up with the solutions. So this is, yeah, it's a great lesson because it really just puts students into thinking about what's happening in New Jersey, and not something so far off where they don't seem as connected to what they're learning.
Thanks, Rosalie. And I think it's also important for us to note that if you're a teacher who is looking for these kinds of materials, the lesson plan has been written and developed in English for the teacher, but all of the student-facing materials and documents, the slideshow, and as you can see on these cards for the lessons themselves, everything is written and created in Spanish so that those students have the benefit of using their language to understand and learn about rivers and connect to the New Jersey student learning standards so that they don't have to try to overcome the language barrier to achieve that same learning focus. So we were very intentional on creating themes across the grade levels and across the subject areas so that we could have these educators who have this experience create units that could reach that population in an authentic way, that it was not taking something in English and just translating it, that this was developed in in their first language so that they could maximize their learning.
I did drop the link to the lesson. I thought it might be really great for people to kind of look through it as we are talking about it as well. And maybe they can ask more questions based off of what we're
Sure.
discussing. Mm-hmm.
And back to you, Rosalie.
Yeah, so we're very happy to say that we were able to provide 18 K through 5 units, which again is 54 lessons in total, which is amazing for teachers to just have those resources available, and to be able to trust that that the work was done by teachers that are basically in the trenches, right? So, you're able to feel comfortable in knowing that the science is there. We understand the standards because, as we all know, New Jersey is very, very particular about standard-based learning, and that's super important to be able to get the results for students to grow in their learning. So we are always looking for more lessons, right, Elaine? So and we hope that we can continue to do this work and provide more resources. But as for now, please, take a look at all these resources that you have available. And please, like Elaine said, let us know your thoughts on them.
So we'll transition now to Rosalie having some time to share more about the work that she does with Sustainable Jersey and her work with schools. And she's got a lot of great programs and a lot of great offerings. And then again, we're going to have some time for questions and answers. And since we seem to be a little ahead of schedule, we may just have some time that we go back and take a look at the New Jersey Hub and do a live walkthrough and get you to exactly where those lessons and units are, as well as maybe just give you a time to look at them and practice searching on the New Jersey Climate Hub and finding something that's relevant for your grade level or your subject area. And then while we're here to be able to answer any questions about navigating the site or navigating the new units, then you have Kelly and you have Rosalie and I here to answer and talk about those as well.
Mm-hmm. Actually, Elaine, I am going to share my screen very quickly. I kind of wanted to quickly introduce, if you're not familiar with Sustainable Jersey, here's the website. I am putting it in the chat so that you have access to it. But I also wanted to share my screen so you can see. If you're not familiar with Sustainable Jersey, we're a nonprofit organization at the College of New Jersey where we work towards helping schools to become more sustainable. We have a framework and a certification program that we can provide, that we work with schools to work towards steps of sustainability. And as you can see, this is our website. If your school is participating in our program, this is a really easy way to check to see if you're participating or if your school's currently registered. So we have about 67% of New Jersey schools participating in our program in one way or another. But if your school, this is a great way to kind of see how your school is currently participating, or if not and would like to participate, we can definitely help you set that up. So different ways you can put a list view. You can search to see if your school is, registered or certified or anything like that. Also, we have a certification program where we have actions, and this is a framework that we provide in different categories of ways that your school can work towards sustainability. And there's things that your school might be already doing that are low-hanging fruit that you can get points for and become a sustainable Jersey school. So other things that we have, and then we're always providing professional development. We highlight sustainable heroes in schools that are doing things that are great. But I'm going to move back to another great opportunity that we have open right now is the climate challenge. I'm going to share my screen here. So if your school, this is mainly for grades 6 through 12, but if you are a curriculum supervisor or other educators that are in the middle school and high school, this is a great opportunity for students to be part of part of the solution when it comes to climate change. So what students do is that they can take on a project that is within their school or in their community that addresses the causes and impacts of climate change. They document their journey in a digital story and submit it to us, and we are able, and students, these student groups are able to win or get awarded up to $2,500 for their climate change initiatives. And this for middle school and high school, those categories are judged separately. And it's a really great project because students are able to, become empowered in making the change within their community. It's one of my favorite things that we work with. And this is our 4th year running with this program. So right now it's the registration is open. The actual entries for the digital story is due April 9th. But if you're interested and you kind of have questions, please send me an email, or, if you want to pass this information along to maybe your science supervisor or environmental science supervisor, that would be great as well. Sustainable Jersey also, we have a grant program where we do 2 grant cycles a year, one for NJEA, and currently we have the PSA&G grant open. And it's $2,000 grants and $10,000 grants, and any of the work that you want to do in your school that supports the Sustainable Jersey actions. So if you are doing a school garden, or if you want to kind of buy more literature for climate change, novels in your classroom, or anything that's connected to any one of our Sustainable Jersey actions, you will just have to be registered as a school. But anyone is eligible to, if you're registered, you're eligible to get these grants. And it's a great, we have funded so many wonderful projects, anything from, social emotional learning rooms, because we do have social emotional learning actions. We have digital school actions. So we have also provided, technology or different ways, different things for equity and within your school system. So if you take a look at the Sustainable Jersey actions and you think about there's some things in your school that you want to take on as a project, please, we do have someone on staff that we can provide her email for you, and you can, ask more questions about the grant system. And if your school is not part of the Sustainable Jersey certification program, we would love to help set you up for that. We currently just the first deadline for the application was January 13th, but you do have 2 more opportunities to work towards certification in March and in June. So if you have more questions about that, we do have help sessions available and an opportunity to set up a one-on-one with our program coordinator, Joanna, and she can help walk you through that process and think about ways that you can start working towards this becoming more a sustainable school. And this QR code right here will send you straight to that help session if you want to meet with somebody to talk more about that. So, Elaine?
Great, thanks, Rosalie. So as we mentioned, we would provide you an opportunity of ways to stay connected. So we'd appreciate on the left there, that QR code, if you could scan that one. That's a participant form that just allows you to share your contact information with Rosalie and I. And so there are just a few questions about what you have more interest in. So for example, if you have interest in the grants program with Sustainable Jersey, you could note that you want to have more contact with Rosalie or someone from her team. So if you could fill that form out, we would appreciate it. The QR code in the center will take you directly to the SubjectToClimate sign up window to sign up for our free newsletter and connect you with new resources as they're updated and PD opportunities, as well as connect you to the site. And then on the right, you can sign up for Rosalie's mailing list. And if you do that, you'll get the program updates, the funding opportunities. You'll be messaged when grants are coming due, or when new grants are announced, or when there are opportunities to attend their webinars and focus sessions, so that you can connect more with sustainability in your school district and Sustainable Jersey. And not to mention that there are probably many lessons or units on the New Jersey Climate Hub that could connect you as well to some of those actions and activities that are part of that certification process. So you could connect in all ways to bring that to your school. So we'll keep that up there for just maybe another minute or two, so that we give people the opportunity to scan those. I'm also going to share in the chat now the link to the New Jersey Climate Education Hub, so that if what you'd like to do during this Q&A time, if you'd like to go in there and explore, I encourage you to make the free account, which essentially just allows you the opportunity to bookmark by clicking on favorite lessons or resources. And we'd love to hear any feedback on your navigation and your searching. And we'd also love to help you with that while we're here, as well as offer answers to any questions that you could have about the new unit plans. And of course, we have Kelly here. I also would like to mention we have Renee Hayter here from Sustainable Jersey as well. So if we have questions that we need to send her way, we can do that as well. But we'll open the opportunity now for a time for question and answers. And since we are a smaller group, I welcome you to, if you would like and you're comfortable with turning your camera on. And if you have a particular question or a comment, you are welcome to raise your hand or even just unmute. And we'll make sure that we give everyone an opportunity who has something to share or ask about, because as you could see, we're very excited about what we were able to build out for New Jersey educators. Jeff, I think I see you and you're unmuted. So I saw you had lots of comments in the chat too. So we'll pass it to you for what you'd like to know.
Great. So just really appreciative of the effort that's gone behind this. I have not fully digested this, though, Elaine, I think we spoke before, and so I went on the hub, and Pat Heaney on my team, that climate change is one of her foci this year. So here's a question, because there's actually a couple other folks here from the Watershed Institute. We're trying to catch up or stay abreast with everything. So some of us are here tonight. I think some of us are scheduled for the 3-5, and some of us are signed up for both. So I'm feeling like I've been given a great, really detailed introduction of several key elements, and that, for instance, I don't necessarily need to come next time. Is that would I assume you're introducing us to some other teachers next time, but it's sort of the same format for the three, what is that, 3-5? Do I have that right?
Yeah, so the session next week is the same time, but it's grades 3 to 5 educators. It will be different teachers who will be sharing a different perspective about their story and their classroom experience and the units that they in particular wrote. So I would encourage you to come to that one as well, because I think you could hear very different information about maybe resources they selected or their journey, because there is a wide growth gap from K to
Sure.
2 to those 3 to 5 students as well. And Maria is here. Maria, it's so great
Hello.
to have you here. Rosalie did a fantastic job of sharing about your unit, which was one of her favorites, and
Sorry.
highlighting and talking about
I
it.
I
So,
got in a little fender bender, so everything
oh
is okay now, thank
no.
God. But
Oh,
while we sorted out, I just came late.
it's wonderful to have you here. So for those of you that are attending, this is Maria. And if you have questions about how she was able to develop her bilingual unit, she's here to answer those as well.
I could just do follow up. Hi, Maria. Sorry.
Hi.
Just follow up that last question. Earlier on, you mentioned on the website, and I didn't seek this out during this, that there were maybe three professional development opportunities that you have listed. Is this one of the three, or are there three additional things? And are okay, can you tell me just
That's a
I
great,
can go on
yeah.
that website and look, but do you want to just take a moment?
No, but
What those are?
that's a great question. So we have 3 teacher training modules. We call them level 0, level 1, and level 2. And by we, I mean subject to climate.
Right.
Our team has created them. Level 0, and the teachers who were part of this New Jersey lesson plan project actually completed all 3 of these modules as part of preparing them for this work. So level 0 is sort of that foundational, what is climate change, and gives an educator that knowledge, because those of us that are elementary educators, part of what is sometimes challenging is we don't feel that we know enough, or we're not science teachers, and a lot of folks think that that's where this should be. But as interdisciplinary teachers, we teach all subjects in the elementary school. So that was built out for that reason exactly, to build that confidence in that educator so that they would be able to go into their classroom and teach these lessons in units, feeling like they have the foundation built as a teacher, as an adult. And then level 1 goes into, okay, now that you know that, here's what this can look like in a classroom. What is climate education? Now with that first foundation. And then the third module involves now taking 0 and 1, and now connecting it to your classroom and developing your own lessons or units. And so it leads teachers through a process of being able to think about finding quality resources and how to build out based on maybe something they're already teaching, and building from what they know and what they're doing, rather than having to start. And as we know, challenging for teachers in all states, but New Jersey as well, is finding the time to infuse something new, which is why these units were built around things teachers are already teaching, so that we know that this is a way to help. Those 3 modules, Jeff, are free. If you're an NJEA member, you can also get a micro credential free through their process. Those are on the New Jersey Hub professional development tab of the website, and they're completely asynchronous. You do some reading, some viewing of videos, some listening. You work your way through at your own pace, and you can do those. Start at 1 if you feel like you've already got your knowledge. So I hope that answers your question about what those are and where to find them and what they'll help with.
Absolutely. And I salute the think tank, all the people who have poured energy and thoughtfulness into this from, the leaders of this and the teachers who have contributed lessons. So thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here. Do we have any other questions? Renee, you're welcome to introduce yourself and share anything if you'd like.
Hi, I'm Renee Hayter. I'm the Deputy Director of Sustainable Jersey, and I'm so happy that you joined us today. We are really excited to get these lessons out there for people to use, and we really appreciate the teachers that participated. Kelly Stone has been working with us for a long time in different capacities on different projects, and Maria, thank you so much for adding the Spanish lesson to the portfolio. That's really important. So we're there to help you. And I want to plug the grant cycle. I think I put in the chat the link to it. The grants are, as Rosalie said, 2,000 and 10,000, and you can use that to support your climate education initiatives if you need resources to teaching. We've given out lots of funding for school gardens and outdoor classrooms and like book series and a whole bunch of different cool things that teachers are doing. Rain gardens, they're doing fantastic things at the schools. And you can sign up for you can sign up for our mailing list too. I'll put the link there, and then you'll get like every 2 weeks a blast of everything that's going on and all the opportunities.
And we'll also put the link in the chat for the slide deck so that you have access to that for viewing, because then there are live links associated with each of the sets of units that we highlighted. But those were just a few. We have 9 at the K-2 level and 9 at the 3-5 level, and each of those are several lessons. So we encourage you to go to the New Jersey Climate Hub. We didn't want to spend a chunk of our hour with you going through spending time on the hub. We wanted to have you spend time with those fellows and hear directly from them. But yes, I'll put the link in the chat right now. So that should work for everyone for viewing access. You also have Rosalie's email. You also have mine there, and then there are links to the hub, the Subject to Climate, our core site, as well as the Sustainable Jersey for Schools link there as well. So we hope that we've included access to ways to navigate all the things we've talked about and shared tonight. And if you have any questions or comments or anything to review, we appreciate hearing from you.
Elaine, can I ask one question?
Of course.
Hi, I'm Nicola. Sorry, I'm just looking at the Sustainable New Jersey schools website, and I found my school district's profile.
Awesome.
It just says current certification none. Can you just elaborate that we should do something more with that, or?
Yeah, so if you currently are not certified, does it say that you are registered?
Yes.
Okay, so you're registered. So it would be really great if you could set up if you're interested in becoming certified, we can set you up with a help like a call session with our program coordinator, Joanna. She works directly. I'm gonna bring that back up again. The QR code with that. And you could speak to her one-on-one. She'll look at your she'll talk to you about the how to get started and the different things that you can do, maybe things that you're already doing in your classroom or in your school. So this QR code right here takes you to setting up a meeting with Joanna, and then she can kind of walk you through the next steps.
What district are you from?
Tewksbury?
Oh, okay. So it also means to register the school district, to register a school district, the board has to pass a resolution saying that they support the district, registering for the program. There's no commitment or anything. You need to be registered to apply for one of the grants. So the fact that the district is registered, that's great that you can apply for the grants, and the grant application is pretty straightforward, especially the $2,000 one. And then once the district is registered, then the individual schools in the district register. Are you a one school district?
Two. I see both on the website and I do see the resolution.
Oh, okay, great. So either both schools could apply for grants. You can apply for the grants at a school level or at a district level. Um, And yeah, we would love to work with you. There's quite a few schools in that area that are actively involved in the program. Raritan, Flemington Raritan School District, and up in where Elaine used to work, there's several school districts in that area. So
Okay, great. I do I was a middle school teacher in a different district, and grants were a big deal to us. We were a small school, and so now I'm new to Tewksbury, and they have me do this wonderful professional development, which I'm glad to hear about. So I'm kind of learning the units as I go, but like, say there's a specific unit like plants. I mean, obviously lots of connections. I have all the resources on that one website, so thank you. I see that
Mhm.
I can get the professional development like at the level 0, and asynchronous is very great. So thank you for that as well. But as far as like a grant, then I could just go with like could someone guide me then, through that? Like I don't know what would be appropriate for either a
yeah, you can
wide
give us a
project
call.
or classroom
Yeah,
project.
I mean, I'll put my email in the chat. You can reach out to me if you want, or to Rosalie, and we can talk to you about it. Our grant, the application is pretty straightforward. And the best thing to do is if you go on the website page, I'll put it in again. You can
Okay.
download the application information packet, and it gives you like all the details of what's involved and what the application itself looks like, and it's online. You do have to get a resolution from the board authorizing that you're applying for the grant, but I mean, that's pretty much school district rules in general if
Right.
you're applying for funding. So yeah, we'll be happy to help you if have any questions.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks so much again for the efforts across the board.
You're welcome. And I can attest to it, Nicola. It's a great program. When I was teaching, I was our green team lead at my school, and I worked with a lot of Renee and Rosalie's colleagues, and we got many grants over the years to do our garden and a lot of the different projects and things that we did connected to sustainability and getting students outside and focusing on climate and what's changing in the world around them. So I encourage you to connect with them and give that a try. And I think you'll find supportive resources and teaching materials on the New Jersey Hub that it's which is what's wonderful about the two organizations from the beginning of building out the hub. Sustainable Jersey has been an essential partner. And so it's a great collaboration and connection. So I encourage you to go for it.
Oh, looks like we are at exactly 6 o'clock. So thank you guys all for joining us today, and we hope that you will join us again next week to learn more about the other units that are available for grades 3 to 5. And so thank you again. And if you have any other questions, or please feel free to reach out to any of us. Thank you.
And thank you to our fellow